boys and girls, it's Kid Bombing here, and welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for joining me on this brand new video. So hopefully I'm going to do another read aloud video for you guys, since I have done the previous videos. It was so marvellous, and thank you for supporting me so far by subscribing to my channel, by hitting this bell notification. Always remember. Okay, so as some of you quite familiar, I have got Disney's 102 Dalmatians. It's a sequel of live action remake 1996 with a Glenn Close. Though this is edition of Disney Wonder World of Reading and Gruler Book Club edition. You can see do you remember this cover? It's based on a live action sequel of 101 Dalmatians 1996. So I hope you came to the right place, and please enjoy listening to me when I read to you. Okay, so shall we get started? So enjoy. After spending years in prison for puppy napping, Cruella de Vil was free. She was now changed woman. By undergoing a special treatment, she had learned to love dogs and hate furs. Clutching her dog, Fluffy, Cruella ordered her assistant, Alonso, to gather up her furs and her Dalmatian puppy coat design. Then she had him throw them into a secret room in her mansion, lock them away, bury them beyond sight and memory. Cruella shouted to Alonso, but had Cruella really changed? Her probation officer, Chloe, didn't think so. It was Chloe's job to check up on the released prisoner. Chloe's Dalmatians were upset too when they learned Cruella was free. After all, they had just welcomed 3 adorable puppies into the world. Chloe promised her dogs, Dipstick and Dottie, that she'd be keeping an eye on Cruella. Chloe and her dogs weren't only ones with worries. Kevin, a young man who ran the Second Chance dog shelter, had worries too. The shelter was closing because it had run out of money. Kevin had several dogs of his own and a parrot named Waddlesworth. The bird wouldn't fly because he thought he was a dog. Don't worry, everything will be all right, Kevin told his pals, but didn't know how to save the shelter. Imagine Kevin's surprise when Cruella arrived at the shelter one day. This place and I were made for each other. Cruella told Kevin she bought the shelter on the spot. Within days, Cruella had repaired and redecorated the shelter. She even came every day to groom the dogs. Kevin was thrilled, but Chloe was suspicious and kept visiting the shelter to keep an eye on Cruella. People like Cruella don't change, Chloe told Kevin. Time passed. Chloe's puppy grew and got their spots, except for little Oddball, who remained pure white. But Oddball kept trying to get spots. One day, Chloe brought the puppies to her office. While trying to get the spots from copier machine, little Oddball fell out of a window. At that moment, Chloe happened to be meeting with Cruella. Suddenly, Chloe looked up and saw Oddball outside. Chloe quickly ran to the window and held the puppy inside to safety. Just then, London's huge clock, Big Ben, began to chime It echoed through the glass open window. Bong, bong, bong. Unfortunately, Big Ben's chums reversed the treatment Cruella had undergone in prison. Strange things started happening. An odd smile twisted her mouth. Her hair stood on end. Spots danced before her eyes. Evil, though loving, Cruella was back. Cruella raced home. She tore open her secret room and grabbed her Dalmatian puppy coat design. By Dalmatian puppy coat, the coat of dreams, the ultimate fur coat, Cruella shrieked. And I'm sorry, we are going to make them pay. She would have her coat at last and punish those who had put her in prison for so long. Cruella dashed out to see the famous fur designer, Jean-Pierre Lepelt. She showed him her coat design. They agreed that 102 puppies would be just the number for her gorgeous hooded Dalmatian puppy coat. Cruella immediately set her evil plans in motion. First, she had alongside steal puppies from all over town. She told him to hide the stone pub Dalmatians at the Second Chance shelter. Then Cruella called the police to have Kevin arrested for puppy napping. While Chloe looked on in shock. Kevin protested. "This is crazy," he said. Why would I steal Dalmatians?" But the police took Kevin and his pets to jail. Next, Cruella told Lepelt to steal Chloe's puppies. She invited Chloe and Dipstick to the party to keep them out of her way. Chloe and her dog arrived at Cruella's mansion. Other guests had also brought their dogs, and dinner quickly got out of her hand. Dogs started to climb on tables, step on plates and platter foods on everyone. In the middle of everything, Cruella's dog, Fluffy, barked timidly. He wanted to warn Dipstick and Chloe of Cruella's plan. The pair followed them to the secret fur room. Chloe peeked inside the room and gasped when she saw the fur coat design. "The puppy coat!" cried Chloe. Her puppies were in danger. Just then Cruella appeared. "Goodbye, my dear," Cruella hissed. She shoved Chloe into the room and locked a door. Dipstick managed to get away, while Fluffy worked to free Chloe. Dipstick rushed home to save his family. Back at Chloe's, Lepelt was chasing Dottie and the puppies from room to room. He smashed chairs and scattered books and broke lamps. As the designer reached for Audible, she darted to the window and barked for help. And Lepelt finally grabbed the puppy and stuffed her into his bag. But another puppy nearby heard her yaps for help. By bark, Oddball's call was passed from puppy to puppy. The triad bark echoed across London. Kevin's parrot, Wigglesworth, heard it in jail. He understood that Chloe's puppies needed help, so he took the keys from a sleeping guard and freed Kevin and the dogs. Together, they raced towards Chloe's home. Dipstick had also heard the twilight bark. This made him run even faster. Chloe and Kevin reached Chloe's home at the same time. The mess was terrible, but the worst of all, Dottie and the puppies had been stolen. How will we ever find them? Chloe thought. Kevin's dogs poured through the debris. Finally, with an excited wolf, they uncovered a train ticket. It was Lee Pelt's. Paris, the Orient Express at 10, Chloe cried. Looking at the ticket, we can just make it. Meanwhile, Dipstick was almost home when he heard familiar barking coming from a truck. Dipstick knew it was his family. He quickly yeeted onto the truck. The truck stopped at an alley outside of a train station. When the truck's door opened, Dipstick lunged. He landed in Alonso's arms, but after the struggle, Alonso managed to shove Dipstick into the crate. Cruella was taking puppies by train into Lee Pelt's workshop in Paris, but when she pulled Oddball from a bag, Cruella dropped a white puppy. The rat! Cruella shouted. I asked for spotted dogs. Oddjob scampered off into the train station. Find that dog and get rid of it, Cruella screamed at Alonso. Racing through the station, Oddball dodged suitcases and ducked past feet. Alonso puffed after her. Finally, he gave up and boarded a train to join Cruella and Lee Pelt. His truck, Cruella's car, and all the dogs were already aboard. You took care of that of a rat. Cruella asked him. You will never see it again, Alonso replies. The train began to move. Oddball ran after it, trying to jump aboard. Just then, Chloe and Kevin and his pets arrived and saw Oddball on the tracks. She'll be killed, Chloe cried out. It was then that Wadsworth flew for her first time in his life. The bird snatched up Oddball and landed inside the train with a thump. Wadsworth and Oddball found Cruella's car on the train. They both hid inside it, not worrying what to do next. The train rumbled on through the night. Once in Paris, Cruella and Lee Pelt drive to Lee Pelt's workshop in her car. Alonso took the dogs along in his truck. As they rode along, the puppies barked a twilight bark to the dogs of Paris. Soon Chloe, Kevin and his pets arrived in Paris too. The Parisian dogs led them straight to Lee Pelt's workshop. Meanwhile, Wadsworth and Oddball had slipped into the workshop unnoticed by the workers. The noise of the workers' sewing machines filled the room. Luckily, Oddball could hear the other dogs in the cellar. But how would they ever get them out? Wadsworth noticed a hole in the floor. If it could just make it larger, or he decided the puppies could escape through it. The parrot began to bite the soft wood with his sharp beak. When Kevin and Chloe reached the Pelt's workshop, they sneaked into the cellar through the trapdoor. Their pets greeted them joyfully, but then Cruella poked her head out through the trapdoor. "Aren't you in a tight spot?" she cackled as she slammed the door shut. The lock turned. Everyone's trapped. Well, almost everyone. At the moment, Windlesworth stuck his beak through the hole he had chewed. "Psst! Up there!" the parrot whispered. Working swiftly, Chloe and Kevin began passing the puppies up through the hole in the floor. Upstairs, Oswald led the puppies to the door. It was locked. Desperately looking for another way out, she headed up the staircase. One by one, the puppies climbed the creaking stairs. It seemed as they might get away when Cruella spotted them. "It's a little rat!" Cruella screamed. When she saw Oswald, then she turned towards Alonso. "You lied to me, you worm." She raced after the puppies. "You are a rummy little man," Pelt agreed. Alonso had had enough. He wanted to help the dogs. Alonso tackled a fashion designer. Back and forth, the two men wrestled to a rump. Alonso had the arms of the Pelt's coat stitched together by one of the workers with a pelt in it. The designer stumbled and fell through the hole Windlesworth had made in the floor. Pelt was stuck in the hole. Alonso rushed to the trapdoor. He opened it and set Kevin and Chloe and the rest of the dogs free. In the meantime, Cruella was still chasing the puppies. She followed them up the stairs, across the attic, and out of the window. Oswald urged the puppies across a narrow bridge to the bakery next door. Cruella tore after them. This time is personal," she screamed. Inside the bakery, the puppies dashed to safety as Oswald tried to hold off Cruella, but Cruella wouldn't be stopped. Grabbing a cable, she swung across the room, accidentally hitting a button with her foot. Clank, clank. The baking machinery came to life. Cruella lost her grip on the cable and fell into a huge mixing bowl of the cake batter. The giant mixing bowl moved along conveyor belt. "Ah!" Cruella yelled as eggs splattered down upon her head. Bleak, glup. Cruella sputtered as she was covered with flour and milk. Round and round the mixing bowl churned Cruella into a mess of gluey dough. Then it tipped over and poured Cruella goo into the huge cake pan. The cake was ready for baking. By now, Chloe and Kevin had arrived, yapping joyfully. The dogs and her friends were related. Not long after ding, the oven door opened and the cake came out, with a crusty Cruella in the middle. Jumping on the cubes of icing, the puppies decorated the Cruella cake. What fun! Outside the bakery, the Paris police were waiting to take a crumbly Cruella off to jail once again. the pelt was unstuck from a hole and arrested too. Everyone else soon back in London. A few weeks later, Alonso and Fluffy showed up at a second chance shelter with a big surprise. I asked if I could have the pleasure of delivering this. Alonso began. Cruella had been forced to give her entire fortune to dogs. Judge's orders, Alonso added, everyone cheered the dogs would be safe now. But a little oddball barked loudest. Everyone looked up to see her sitting happily in the dog sculpture at the front of the shelter. Soon they could see why she was happy. The brave little puppy's fur was no longer pure white. Oddball had gotten her spots at last. Well, this is the end. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me when I read to you. I hope you like this reading Disney's 102 Dalmatians. So if you enjoyed it, please write your comments down below and give you a thumbs up. And I really appreciate you guys. So thank you so much, and please stay tuned on next Read Aloud video. So hope you have a great day. I'll see you on the next video.